Hello, history buffs. My name is James Dallas. I'm here in Johnson City, Tennessee. That's in East Tennessee in Washington County. I'm at one of the more interesting grave sites, I think, in our entire state. I'm at Oak Hill Cemetery, again in Johnson City, and I am at the family grave plot of the Reeves family. And let me show you why I think this is so interesting. Starting from the left side, that's the side closest to Lamont, we have the grave of Willie Robeson Reeves. She was a teacher, and as you can see, she was the daughter of Elbert Clay and Alice R. Reeves. She lived from 1877 to 1966. I don't know much about her, but I do know some things about her father, Elbert Clay Reeves. Now, E.C. Reeves, as he was often known in his life, was born in 1841 and died in 1929. And he was a Confederate soldier for a couple of years. He actually found a replacement for the draft, so he ended up leaving the Army. Never, as to the best of my knowledge, never was wounded, although I imagine he probably did see at least some combat. He joined the unit of his cousin, Isaac E. Reeves. That's the 29th Regiment, Company G, which was mostly made up of men from Washington County. But most of his life stories actually come from after the Civil War. He was a personal secretary of Andrew Johnson after Johnson was impeached and came back to Greenville, Tennessee to practice law. Elbert and Isaac practiced law. Elbert was a personal secretary for Andrew Johnson, and had many interesting stories related to that. He helped Johnson get reelected to the U.S. Senate in the 1870s, making Johnson the first ex-president ever elected to the Senate. Unfortunately, Johnson died shortly after his election and never made an impact in that body. Elbert Reeves himself did make a run for Congress, and although it was an uphill struggle, he worked hard to rebuild the Democratic Party in East Tennessee after the Civil War. East Tennessee was actually pretty closely divided between the Democrats and the Whigs prior to the war, but afterwards, because it was such a strong Union area, it swung heavily Republican. This is his wife, Alice Robeson, and as you can see, she was born in 1851, died in 1909, so was about a decade younger than Elbert was. And then, of course, Alice, who I believe is a daughter of Elbert and Alice the Elders over there. But really, the most interesting person, here's Raymond. He's, I believe, a son of Elbert and Alice. The reason why we're here is this is the grave of Colonel Leroy Reeves, who lived from 1876 to 1960. And as you can see on his grave, he was a regular Army soldier in the United States Army, lawyer, soldier, and for us in Tennessee, the designer of our tri-star flag, the 3 stars on the circle of blue on a field of red with the blue band at the end. And so these are the remains of the man who gave us our state flag that we're so proud of here in the state of Tennessee. Now over here on the main path of the cemetery, you can see there's a state history marker that details the history of the flag a little bit. It was adopted in 1905. So at the time, Colonel Reeves himself was only about 30 years old when it became the state flag, and was first used by the National Guard Company when East Tennessee State Normal School was dedicated. I believe that is the institution that became East Tennessee State University in later years. So anyways, something you might not have known was in Johnson City.